Hi everyone, it's Deb. I've been thinking about this struggle that I think people have. I think there's this idea that in order to be able to make the world a better place, that we have to do something epic. We have to have had some big influence out in the world and made some big change. And we have these ideas in our heads of that we should be doing this or we should be doing that, or we watch another person doing things and we wish we could have that much influence, or we just see that there are so many problems in the world and we want to solve those problems. And the more that we see the problems, the more complex the set of problems that we're seeing, the more helpless we feel, but also the more inspired we are to we need to fix this world, we need to deal with climate change. We need to deal with immigration. We need to deal with right now we have to deal with the coronavirus. We need to deal with our economic situation. We need to deal with the inequities, and we have to deal with this. It's like the list goes on and on and on. And we feel this sense that we need to be part of that. And the thing is that everybody believes they need to be doing something epic. We need to be doing something big, or that we need to be speaking about it. We need to be engaged. I mean, I know there are plenty of people who are also completely just disconnected from it, and that's fine too. I'm not making any judgments here. But for the people who tend to feel the pressure, like they're supposed to be doing something, and that there's like a way that they are supposed to be having an impact, and they have a purpose here, and they need to make a change, and they need to be part of the change, I just want to invite you to consider the possibility that you are already doing enough. Especially because many, many people who are listening to me have children. And if you have children, then I say parenting alone is enough. I really feel that way. I mean, parenting is a massive contribution to the world. We are literally raising the future of humanity. We are creating the future of humanity. What more important thing could we be doing? And yet I see so many people who are so oriented around the problems of the world and feeling a sense that they need to be doing something that it actually takes away from their time with their children. It takes away from their time to do their own inner work. And so I know that it can be because we're distracting ourselves and we're maybe struggling. Maybe we don't know how to connect with our kids the way that we wish we could, or maybe we don't know how to do our own inner work. And so it's easier just to orient to the outside and just be like, oh, well, there are a lot of big problems that need to be fixed. My stuff isn't that important. But my own personal take on this is that your stuff is the most important. And this is not at all about being selfish. This is about us doing our healing and showing up fully because it's just necessary. It's necessary. I mean, why did we get given a life if not to live it? And if we are all unique, totally, like completely unique, like little fingerprints, if each one of us is unique, there's got to be a reason why we're all made the way we were. There has got to be a reason why each one of us is so different from one another and yet so similar to one another. And so the question is, if we're not living our full lives, if we're not living the life we were given, then who are we to say, right? Like, why wouldn't we want to live the life that we were given? So that's my call, is to say, who are you? What are you here for? How is it that you are going to serve? But I don't come from the place of that there's some right answer. If you're a musician, that is your way you serve. That's beautiful. If you are parenting, beautiful. If you are contributing by your natural inclination is to be in service in a much more kind of tangible way, like you go out and you actually buy groceries for people who need them. Beautiful. If you are the kind of person who is just struggling to make it through the day right now, and your anxiety is overwhelming you, and you're just trying to work through and understand your anxiety better and get yourself to a more steady place in your life, that's beautiful. And if we can stop comparing what we do, we might realize that actually just being you is epic. Just doing your own unique being, just being you, that's epic. I'm not saying that you're not going to do things. I'm not saying you're not going to work and you're not going to want to give back and all of that. That's all wonderful. But often we're spending a lot of our time and energy and our psychic energy worrying about problems, wishing we could solve them, and not really actually doing much, kind of just doing a lot of thinking and not doing a lot of doing. And then we also ultimately cause ourselves a lot of suffering because we spend a lot of time worrying and in fear. So my invitation is, how much can you come to your own personal experience of life? Can you just come into this very moment and look around, and like I can look right now and see a blue sky and pretty trees, and I can see the sun peeking through, and I can just see the beauty in my life. Or can I, when I'm with my kids, can I just be with them and be present with them? Can I be present with me? And can I be more connected in my relationships? Those things, those are epic things. Those are epic things. And my invitation is to do more of those epic things, to focus on the smaller circles of your life, to focus on yourself and your family and your friends and your extended family, your workplace, kind of like you get to do you. And to get so consumed by all the world's problems takes you away from being able to be here. My own personal advice is that you actually compartmentalize. So if you could, at least in the beginning of this, if you allow yourself a period of time in the day that you get to worry about the world's problems, and then you kind of close it up in a box and you put it aside, and then you come back to your life and you be present in your life, and then again at another period of time you open up that other box and you look inside of it and you see, yes, the world does have a lot of problems. Yes, there are a lot of things that we're all going through. Yes, there are people who have less than us, and we can feel into all of that. We can sit in that murky kind of space of like, what do we do? And that helplessness. And then we close it back up. And then we come back to what can we control in our lives? And what we can control in our lives is our attitudes about our life. We can control that we can do our own work, our own healing work. We can control the way we interact with people, the way we respond to situations. That's what we can control. We come back to what we can control. And we can actually do the epic things that we individually were meant to do, because every one of us is epic in our own way. It's just if you compare yourself to other people, you can get caught up in that you're not doing enough, a big enough thing, like the most impactful thing. But every time I work with any clients and we go through and we look at what it is that they care about, I can find a million, well, maybe not a million. I could find a handful, at least, ways that they're already doing that in the world, and that they just keep thinking they need to do more and bigger and better, or that they need to be seen for what they're doing or known for what they're doing, or become like start a foundation or make a lot of money with it. And often we are doing it already. And so just, that's another thing you can do is like take out a piece of paper, write on the top of the page what matters to you, what you really care about, and then write the list of the things that you already are doing that contribute to that already are in the interest of that impact you want to have. And then maybe make a list of the things that you want to be doing that you're not yet doing, and then start to work toward those things. But if we, it allows us to get more concrete with it, and rather than us feeling like we have to do a million things, or that worrying is part of it, we can kind of come back to what's in my lane, what can I control, and then do that. And by the way, a lot of times for me, I notice myself being sucked into wishing I would do something else, but it's just not me. I'm never going to do it. And I've got to put those on another list, which is the things Deb will never do. And so I invite you to have another list, which is the things that you will never do, and that you can basically just let them go. And know that that's just not your cup of tea. You're not going to do that type of service in the world, and that's okay. You could be in deep admiration for people who do and just say, that's not going to be me. All right, well, thank you so much. And so find your way in this. You are already doing epic things.